Alright, so I've gotten a lot of comments on this one, and everybody wants to know more about it, so it's a 30 AA that I built from the ground up. When I got it, it was just a frame. And I put it together from just plain old parts. I'll have to put a bunch of pictures up. But I built this hoist. It has the cylinder out of it right now to move stuff around. It's a pull trailer for a log truck tongue. Needs to be beefed up a little more because you can see I've bent it right here a couple of times. And the framework here is just a couple of truck frame extensions that I cut off from the factory and welded together. Cut off from the factory frame. I just welded a couple chunks of small pipe here and put the pins through them. And surprisingly, they haven't broke off yet. I also welded the safety chain on, so if these pieces of pipe break off, it doesn't come back and get my cab. It's a 30 AA. It's the long wheelbase, 157 inches. It's built in June, which was the first month of this body style for an AA. It has a AA engine built in 28. It's got the pan that's set up for dropping the oil pump out without dropping the pan. This motor came with this truck. This one and one of the others came as a package deal. And so this motor, all I've done is change the head out because it was cracked, and I put a different water pump on it. It's like a period correct leakless that you fill with this whole area with grease, and it doesn't leak until it's low on grease. It's got a 2-tooth steering column, which would be the correct steering column for this truck. It's an interesting 3-spoke steering wheel, which is not very common for Model A's. It's got the original gas tank set up to work. I rebuilt the fuel gauge and everything, but I need to clean some of the finer dirt out of it because it just fills up the sediment bowl and goes straight down into the carburetor. So temporarily I'm running it off a lawnmower gas tank, and by temporarily I mean it's been a year now, over a year running on that thing. It's got the 4-speed transmission, and I know a lot of people are gonna start asking what this knob does. Well, that's your reverse lockout. So this you can go between first and fourth, but to get to reverse you have to pull this up. And a lot of people haven't seen one of those, but you've got your same gauges and everything that your sedan would have, or your pickup, and speedometer and amp meter. The headlights are supposed to be in the center of the steering wheel, but this turns with the steering wheel, and I didn't want to have to mess with trying to free that up. So I just put the headlights here on this switch and the horn on this switch, and right now the horn needs some help. I've got a couple switches up here. This is for just a regular light in the engine bay, so I can see in there at night. And this one used to run an electric fuel pump that I had rigged up on here for a fuel tank I put on the back for a temporary deal. But it's not wired in anymore. You got your choke here. Pretty much everything else is the same as a normal Model A pickup. My seat is just seat springs. They're pretty sad shape, but they're better than nothing right now. This door came off of a different cab, so it's not real straight, but it is a lot straighter than it was. Took a lot of work to get it this straight. It only used to close this far, and you could not force it clear shut. It's quite rusted out on the bottom, but the cab itself isn't bad for rust. It's got some. Main rust is back here across the bottom, but being an AA, it has the springs set up this direction in the back, and it has your normal springs set up for the front, same as what your car would have. I'm running 6-volt seal beam headlights because I didn't want to mess with trying to put together the original headlights. It's got the original horn. It's got a car radiator shell because I think they look better than the truck ones. And I didn't have another truck one. As far as brakes, they work the same way. They're mechanical. I've got them disconnected for the front axle because you'll hit the brake rods with the tire due to having a tire that's 3 sizes too big. These wheels, they're hard to find because the lug pattern's a little bit smaller than what they started in 34-inch smaller, so they're hard to find in decent shape. I do have 6 of them on this truck, all with the same size of tires, so to get the gap I had to run some other lug nuts. I don't know if you can see. Anyway, there's a set of lug nuts in the center, so I can stick my finger between the 2 wheels. And that is, those ones in there are on the same direction. These ones are on out here. These are on backwards, using the ones on the inside to center the wheel. These ones being on backwards is to get the most threads as possible on them. As far as U-bolts holding this on, these U-bolts came off of a 55 Ford F600 that was burnt up that I had, but they work good on here. I got a normal exhaust on here, and everything else under here is normal. It's still running on 6 volts. It's a good running truck. The motor's still set up all stock, positive ground, and everything. Running the correct carburetor, which is the Zenith. The Tillotson was not a factory carburetor. Just, normal Model A setup. There's the light that switch works on the inside. Still running a generator with the cutout. It has not been converted to diodes. And all of this stuff was all spare parts that I had laying around. I did a bunch of straightening to the sun visor to get it this straight, which is still not very straight. I made my own wood for the top up here just to get the cab square. I got to do a bunch of work before I make any more wood for it. But yeah, I got the correct door latch working and everything. I don't have any windows in it. I have a windshield for it. The windshield is down here in the garage. But I got everything for it. And it's one of my favorite trucks that I have. I always wanted a Model A. My dad always had the two-door sedan and the pickup, but growing up, he never did anything with either one. They just sat up at my grandpa's place. And whenever we went up there, we would go out and look at them. So I wanted an AA or an A real bad. So when I got a chance to get a bunch of them, I didn't pass it up. But I will put up a bunch of pictures on how this started out. And let you see how it came along. It's still all set up normal under here. This one has the high-speed rear end. So with these tires, I might be able to make it to 45. I've got a few others with the low-speed rear end that I'm lucky to hit 30 downhill. But yeah, it's a good truck, and I enjoy driving it. I have a good time taking it to car shows. Get a lot of people asking about it, especially since it's in original condition, unrestored. Even though it's parts and pieces. I figured that this truck has the remains of about 36 others on it. Which is a little bit hard to believe, but almost every other part came from a different truck. I mean, the fenders came from the same truck as the cab, but the rest of it was, each piece was a different truck, including the wheels. I've got wheels that are too new on here. So this style of wheel is too new. This is a 31 to 33 style wheel. The 30 wheel, which is what this AA has, this being a 29 wheel, this being a 30 wheel, is smooth right here, unlike the other wheels. But I'll do a bunch of pictures and so you guys can see what it started out as. like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to get notified when I upload new videos. And as always, thanks for watching.